The disillusionment is particularly pronounced among working-class voters who were pivotal to the Conservatives' success in 2019 and the Brexit vote. Current polling indicates that a significant number of these voters are reluctant to support the Conservatives again. Yet they are not overwhelmingly rallying behind Labour either. A notable portion is leaning towards reform, but the majority seem poised to abstain from voting altogether.
Welcome to TFI Global, the antidote to mass delusion.
The recent by-election victories for Labour in Wellingborough and Kingswood have sent ripples through the political landscape, delivering a significant blow to the Conservatives. The Wellingborough result, marking a substantial swing from the Tories to Labour since 2005, underscores a challenging tide, signalling challenges for Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and his party as the general election looms. Despite these setbacks, Sunak's immediate position might not be in existential danger. But the atmosphere within the Conservative Party is tense, with a threat of rebellion simmering beneath the surface. The economic forecast adds to the gloom, casting a shadow over the Conservatives' prospects for the upcoming general election. A former cabinet minister speaking anonymously expressed a sentiment of resignation within the party, indicating a shift towards damage control. Interestingly, some Conservative MPs remain optimistic, viewing the by-election losses as anticipated and not necessarily detrimental to Sunak's leadership. The approach within the party appears to be one of perseverance, with loyalists urging focus and discipline. Sunak's strategy includes leveraging upcoming opportunities such as the spring budget and the controversial plan to deport refugees to Rwanda to regain footing. However, these initiatives carry significant risks, and any misstep could intensify calls for leadership change within the party. The mood among Conservatives is one of cautious anticipation, with potential leadership contenders subtly positioning themselves for a post-Sunak scenario. The path to the general election presents a complex puzzle, with internal party dynamics, public sentiment, and political strategy all playing critical roles. Rishi Sunak is facing a stark reminder from the electorate. Never underestimate the power of voters. Despite repeated signals, it seems he is yet to grasp the lesson. The recent losses following last year's significant defeats in Mid-Bedfordshire, Tamworth, and Selby and Ainsty underscore a series of severe rebukes from previously loyal constituencies. It's a clear signal to Sunak and his party that voter support can never be assumed. It must be earned and re-earned at every turn. The dramatic shifts in the UK's political landscape are not so much a surge of enthusiasm for Keir Starmer's Labour Party as they are a stark reflection of the public's growing disillusionment with Rishi Sunak's Conservative government. The recent by-election results, where Labour made significant gains, tell a story of voters moving away from the Tories, but not necessarily towards Labour with open arms. The decrease in Conservative vote share was notably larger than the increase in Labour's, suggesting a general discontent rather than a direct transfer of loyalty. The sentiment stems from a sense of betrayal felt by voters who in 2019 were captivated by promises of getting Brexit done and levelling up communities that felt overlooked. Boris Johnson's ability to breach the red wall, winning over traditionally Labour-held seats with a populist agenda, marked a seismic shift in British politics, leaving Labour with its smallest number of seats since the 1930s. However, the faith placed in the Conservatives has been eroding. The pandemic and subsequent Partygate scandal, revealing top Tories flouting their own lockdown regulations, began the decline in support. The situation worsened with the tumultuous transition of leadership from Johnson to Liz Truss and ultimately to Rishi Sunak, marking a period of instability and internal conflict within the party. Truss's brief and chaotic tenure, characterized by a disastrous mini-budget, cleared the path for Sunak. Yet, the current government, perceived as a return to the more moderate Cameronism of David Cameron's era, has failed to resonate with those who voted for a more populist, anti-establishment. Sunak's administration, despite attempts at tough rhetoric on issues like immigration, has not fulfilled the transformative promises that once energized a broad base of conservative support. Voters who once rallied behind the Tories for bold changes and a clear break from the status quo are now finding themselves disillusioned. The Conservatives' dramatic drop in support signals a profound disconnect with the electorate, a scenario that Labour has benefited from, but not necessarily inspired. As the political tides turn, the challenge for both parties lies not just in winning seats, but in genuinely addressing the frustrations and aspirations of a populace wary of unkept promises and political upheaval. In the current political landscape, the shifting allegiances of voters reflect a broader sense of disenchantment rather than a clear swing towards any particular party. While Labour has made gains, the significant story is the public's growing disillusionment with Rishi Sunak's Conservatives, rather than a surge of enthusiasm for Keir Starmer's Labour. In recent by-elections, Labour's increase in vote share was notably less than the decrease in Conservative support, indicating that many dissatisfied Tory voters are exploring alternatives rather than directly switching to Labour. A portion of these voters are gravitating towards Reform, the party that succeeded the Brexit Party, achieving double-digit vote shares in recent by-elections. This performance contradicts the skepticism of some who doubted Reform's polling strength, suggesting the party could pose a real threat to the Conservatives. However, the most striking trend is the widespread voter demoralization underscored by the plummeting turnout in recent by-elections, which has averaged just 28% over the current parliament. The disillusionment is particularly pronounced among working-class voters who were pivotal to the Conservatives' success in 2019 and the Brexit vote. Current polling indicates that a significant number of these voters are reluctant to support the Conservatives again. Yet they are not overwhelmingly rallying behind Labour either. A notable portion is leaning towards Reform, but the majority seem poised to abstain from voting altogether. This scenario highlights a critical challenge for all major parties, re-engaging a disenchanted electorate. The task ahead is not merely about winning over votes from rival parties, but also about inspiring those who have lost faith in the political process to participate once more. The evolving dynamics suggest a volatile political environment where traditional allegiances are being reconsidered and the quest for genuine representation and leadership is more urgent than ever. In recent political shifts, a notable trend has emerged where many middle-class voters, highly motivated and strategic in their approach, have turned sharply away from the Tories. This group, adept at anti-Tory tactical voting, has been making its mark in recent elections, as evidenced by the diminished support for the Liberal Democrats in both Wellingborough and Kingswood, where they garnered just 4.7% and 3.5% of the votes, respectively. This contrasts starkly with situations where the Lib Dems have surged, pushing Labour to lower positions, like in Somerton and Frome last year. The phenomenon of bourgeois anti-Toryism is set to become a significant factor in the next election, further fueled by the disillusionment prevalent among many working-class voters. The magnitude of Tory losses points toward a likely victory for Starmer and Labour despite the lukewarm excitement surrounding his leadership. However, the rapid decline of the Conservative Party also serves as a cautionary tale for Labour. It underscores the fickleness of voter loyalty in an era marked by significant political fluidity, where long-standing party affiliations are increasingly being reconsidered. This landscape signals that no party's future is secure, and a rise can quickly turn into a fall if the electorate's evolving demands are not met. Those banking on Starmerism to appease this unsettled and demanding electorate might find themselves facing unexpected challenges. The message is clear. In these times, a political upheaval, taking voters for granted, could lead to dramatic reversals in fortune overnight.